Welcome to the Movement for Sensible Hiring page. My name is Jim Patton. I'd like to give a quick overview of what we're about here. First of all, this page is intended for both job seekers and employers. We're not trying to sell anything here, but we are trying to persuade you to join the movement. If you watch this short video, I hope you'll agree that we're just trying to be sensible. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the characteristics of sensible hiring. There's much more to say, but this is it in a nutshell. All right? Resume writing and interview performance are less important than job match. It is much more important to determine if there is a match between an applicant's competencies, aptitude, and attitude than it is to judge their ability to win over a recruiter with a dazzling resume and interview performance. Next, the employer must have a detailed job analysis in hand to be able to evaluate matches. This is not just a job description. It is much, much more. And it's designed to indicate the exact competencies, aptitude, and attitude to succeed in the job. The job applicant assessment that accompanies the analysis will also go a long way toward giving the applicant an idea of just what this job is. References are key in evaluating an application, especially when experience is lacking. There is a better way of doing reference checking that doesn't compromise the process. The assessment must emphasize real-life job situations. Hypothetical real-life situations that don't have a response that relates directly to the job usually leaves the applicant wondering what the ideal response to this non-job situation would be by someone who is in the job. Not necessarily the response they would give, but the response that they believe someone who is successful in getting the job would give. All right, so now that we've summarized sensible hiring, let's talk a little bit about our current hiring culture and why it doesn't work. Studies have shown that incorrectly placed people don't last, no matter how much they wanted the job in the first place. Either they quit or they're fired. One study of 20,000 participants showed that roughly 46% of new hires leave within 18 months. Can you believe it? That's incredible. When companies don't do a good job of screening applicants for the final pool, the evaluation heavy lifting is left to the final interviews. So an in-depth scrutiny at this point reveals the poor quality of the final pool and will often result in a failed search, forcing everyone to start over. All right. And applicants who aren't good at the game of job seeking don't make the cut no matter how well qualified they may be at actually performing the work, regardless of their resume, interviewing skills, or credentials. The answer here is not to train all those well-qualified job applicants to get better at getting a job. The answer is to change the culture of hiring. This is a big goal. That's why I need your help. You know, technology has gotten us into this mess. It's made it so easy to send out hundreds of applications, companies are overwhelmed. I recall actually being afraid of posting a job opening, knowing that I'd be forced to review hundreds of resumes. Well, the good news is that technology is also able to help us out of this mess. Online applications and online interviewing have the ability to remove many of the obstacles that prevented meaningful pre-employment assessment in the past. The result of applying this technology will be that it will take a little more effort in the beginning by companies, but the overall time and cost to hire will be reduced. Furthermore, the likelihood of a long-term hire will increase dramatically. So join the movement for sensible hiring. Let me give you full disclosure. We would like to recruit companies as clients to learn the sensible hiring system. We don't have anything to sell to job applicants. However, we believe that only through a groundswell movement by people sympathetic to the philosophy will we be able to change the culture. We need for job applicants, or really anyone in the workforce, to vote with their feet by joining the movement. My fondest hope is that the sheer numbers will indicate to employers that the hiring culture must change. Sensible hiring is more than just pre-employment assessment, and we'd like to tell you more. If you join the movement, you will get access to more information and will keep you up to date on our progress. Just knowing which companies have adopted this philosophy will be revealing. Who knows, they may be your next employer. As incentive to join the movement, we're offering a $300 finder's fee to anyone who refers a company that becomes a client. This can be anyone except a family member, a coworker, a colleague, a client, anyone who brings the idea of sensible hiring to the company decision maker. When we get a new client, we'll ask if they were referred by anyone. If they mention your name and you're in our database, we'll send you $300. That's it. So please join the movement. We promise not to spam you, divulge your contact information, or deluge you with posts. I'll talk to you soon.